Having it so late, man. I'm sorry. I was giving you the runaround there.
Nah, man. I'm very what's the word? That's the only action I get is the run around where I don't mind it.
Well, I'm
No,
a
but
nocturnal being, so
that's cool. No, I feel like as humans nowadays with the heat so bad, we're gonna have to evolve into nocturnal beings.
yeah, that's the
Or
thing that's happening, isn't it? The global warming. It is warming.
yeah, and people still want to deny it, which I don't really care because you can't stop it. Why just say I was right? And it's like, okay, well, what do you get that they were right?
Yeah.
Solve it instead of fucking talking shit about it, you know?
I be recycling, man. I do my part.
I recycle tin cans because that was just like instilled in me as a young Mexican boy. We used to
Right.
always grab tin cans off the side of the road and then go to like the aluminum man, the
Right,
aluminum
right.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
The
he'd
aluminum fella.
yeah, the scoundrel, and he'd turn our cans into cash. That was back in my day. That was as kids. You're like, drink as much as you want, Dad. Hurry up so I can get more
Yeah.
fucking
Be sure to save those.
yeah, poke holes in it. We'll shoot him with the BB gun. But yeah, that's a great intro. My guest today is writer, comedian, musician, and wizard, Kelsy Hudgins.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Hell yeah! Thank you for being here and what's the word? Representing.
Hell yeah.
How-
I'm here to rep.
yeah, how's it going? I know you said you had a set yesterday, right? And then I don't know how much comedy you do. Is it like a everyday thing?
Um, yeah, I'm going up pretty much if I leave the house, I'll go up somewhere. I actually just left the mothership. I was on the door guy showcase at the mothership a bit ago, which
Hmm.
happens after the mic. Um, so yeah, I'm going up often, and now I'm working at Sunset. Uh, so I'm getting a lot of stage time from working there, and that's really neat. So
No,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm excited about all of that.
it sounds like perfect. Like that's what you want to do, and then you're there in the venues that give you the
Right.
most action. Whether it's a bad day or a good day, I'm sure you learn from it.
Oh
Whatever.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you can get anything out of you can make anything good come out of whatever you do. So I've
Hmm.
been trying to just get the most out of my time here in Austin. I left Myrtle Beach, to do stand up comedy here. So that's what we're doing.
And where is that?
Myrtle Beach is just under it's the South Carolina. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
beach in South Carolina, just below the North Carolina border. I grew up right at the North Carolina, South Carolina line, so I'm pretty much just a Carolinian. Uh,
That's cool.
but um, but yeah, I did the music thing in Myrtle Beach for a long time down in South Carolina, and uh, decided I wanted to start doing stand up comedy, and a few things really fell together, and here I am. So
In the Carolinas, is it kind of like the Koreas, where one of them is like, asshole and wanting to kill everyone, the other one's like, whatever, we're cool.
honestly, not so much. I kind of feel like there's not a lot of there's actually more camaraderie, I think, between the Carolinas than there is I don't know what's there's not a lot of bad blood there. It's yeah, we kind of look out for each other, but it's definitely like the North Carolina is like the we hold being southern very high in South Carolina, which I don't know why we do that, because the South isn't we don't have the best track record, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know why we're aggressively proud of that, but it's like, hey, well, we're the South, Carolina. So at least
It's
we're the
good to be
cooler
proud.
Carolina.
Yeah, and then I'm sure they have barbecue sauce There.
Yeah. The South Carolina barbecue sauce is more of a vinegar based
Mhm.
sauce, and the North Carolina sauce is more of like a sweeter sauce.
Always thought that word to sound like a bad word, vinegar.
Yeah, it does. If you take the first part out of it,
Yeah.
it's like if somebody wanted to edit this in, and I'm just talking about vinegar based sauces, they
Yeah.
could really fuck us all up.
Yeah. No, I'm not a fan of vinegar. It's
I'm not either, to be perfectly honest. I'm
yeah.
more of a I like the sweet sauce myself. We
Mm.
got we in South Carolina. We have a thing called the Carolina Gold, so it's like a mustard based sauce.
Oh no, that's worse word
You
than
know, not a
vinegar.
mustard.
Mustard. No,
Oh
that's
man,
worse than that. Yeah. Ugh, forget the color yellow. No, I've never liked mustard. I don't like sour or pickles too. Pickles kind of remind me of that as well.
oh man. I could destroy a jar of pickles with a fork. I stayed with my cousins in Alabama when I was young, and they always I don't know why I associate this with them, but I would always just eat pickles with a fork out of the jar, and they were just like, yeah, we eat them, we'll get more. I don't know,
It's,
they're just weird kids.
endless rations of pickles. Don't worry, there's plenty of them.
Yeah, don't worry,
Uh,
we have plenty of pickles.
just for you. Just for you,
Yeah.
Kelsey. So you moved over here to Austin pretty recent, right? Has it been like a year or 2 or 3?
Yeah, it's been officially 2 years at the end of well in about a month it'll be. Yeah, what's today? The 10th? Honestly, yeah, 1 month from tomorrow will be 2 years that I moved here, and we've re-signed a 3rd-year lease on our house. So that's cool. So I got another year coming up. I'm stoked for it, man. This is. Are you in Austin as well?
I'm here in San Antonio.
Okay, hell yeah. Well, that counts. That's where they're building the Bojangles. Am I right? You guys got Bojangles down there now?
Is
The
that a
chicken place from South Carolina?
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Is that a restaurant? I haven't
Yeah.
heard of that, but I don't get out very much as I'm like
Yeah.
agoraphobic, and then it's hot as fuck
Same.
for a fat person too.
You're
Uh
right about that.
oh yeah, and they did just build like a Burger Boy, like a second one, and I wanted to
Nice.
try that. Yeah, Burger Boy looks good. But yeah, I don't know. I love it here. I've lived here all my life. Like as far as
Nice.
moving from Uvalde, Texas, to over here, and I don't know. Texas is great. I feel like you would know more or less being from another South, state. I don't know. The
Yeah.
South is just like different. Like we're nice, but you don't want to like mess with us.
Yeah, that's definitely a common thing is like the southern hospitality is a thing. We're other than the racism, obviously we're known for
Oh
being
yeah,
very hospitable uh somehow. But yeah, that's a real thing, man. Like and it's getting into the somebody I think my buddy maybe John Carden, he's a comic here in Austin, killer. I think he has this bit. Now I may be misremembering this, but he's like, we were taught to say yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. Well, now you can't do that anymore because we were raised to do like that's the hospitable thing. Like we're
oh
very
yeah.
like like we're very kind in the way we
Respectful.
respectful, right?
Yeah.
Especially to elders, but we're very respectful in that way. So I think that I wish we were known more for that than the racism stuff. But yeah, you don't a person from the South is you never know what you're gonna get. Like they could just be mild mannered and very cool and calm and collected, but something goes down one day and you see them change. I think everybody might have that in them, but in the South, it's definitely a thing like that. Just that grit that not a
Yeah.
lot of other places have that I've noticed. Right?
Yeah,
It's a
and we're
definitely yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, and
No, no,
we're
no.
still kind of stuck in our ways, even it, you know, like with
Yes.
the yes ma'am, no ma'am. I still do that, even though
Yeah.
like I had a job that was like, oh, here are all the pronouns that
Right.
you could come across, and it's like I'm still gonna say yes ma'am, no sir, yes sir, you know.
Right.
And yeah, it's just because it's instilled in you those traditions, and they're more, I don't know what you would call them, Catholic Christian values, but they're not necessarily a
Right.
bad thing. Now they are, but not necessarily, you know.
It's just morals, man. It's just
Mm-hmm.
and like it or not, the and maybe this is the same in the North as well. Like maybe there's a lot of like family oriented morals that people are raised with, but like whether they be Christian or Catholic or whatever it may be, people in the South are instilled with a lot of morals at a very early age, and that's almost like to its detriment. In my opinion, is like we try to give too much. Well, that from the religious aspect anyway. For like being a
Mm-hmm.
good person, like there's a lot more of that. But from the religious aspect, it's a little much.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
oh yeah, definitely. Um, so I was gonna ask you about, and since we're talking about, you know, things like pronouns or racism,
Yeah.
how is it with the being the comedian? How do you feel about the cancel culture? Are you afraid of it personally? Like, do you think a comedian, I mean, you do it pretty much professionally because you've done it, you know, on stage and all that stuff, and you put in your years. Do you think uh that it's like, I don't know, that some people are omitted from it, that they can never be canceled? Are you afraid of it, that it could happen? Do you think it should be allowed? Blah blah blah. You know.
I personally, I'm not afraid of it because I've seen it happen at like close proximity. You know, people like when Tony Hinchcliffe went through it, and I mean, you see where he's at now. Dude, it skyrocketed him. The same
Hmm.
thing with Shane Gillis after Saturday Night Live. You know, now he's the undeniable killer that
Hmm.
everybody quotes when they're, you know, he's like probably one of the active goats, maybe the active goat.
Hmm.
But I'm not worried about it. I think that people should be able to say what they want so long as it gets a reaction. I have a thing that I say where it's like, if no one laughs, then you're racist. You know, like
Yeah.
or if no one laughs, then you're homophobic or transphobic or whatever. But if people laugh, like that's the international signature on the permission slip to say things or whatever. If someone laughs or it gets a, you know, gets a good reaction, I think that's the benchmark of whether or not something should be allowed.
Hmm.
And just because you're not laughing at it, if other people are, that doesn't make them a bad person for laughing, and it doesn't make the comic a bad person for saying what they said. They're just, the comic on stage is trying to achieve a reaction, hopefully laughter, and if they get that, then they've done their job. So that's something that people, I think, take too much. They take it too seriously. Like this is comedy. Why are we taking something so silly so seriously all of a sudden? That's the thing that baffles me about it.
Hmm. And
But I'm not worried.
I always thought too, I guess because I'm a bit of a writer. I've written stuff. Who hasn't written? I'm a bit of a writer. I write stuff,
Oh yeah.
but it's also about like knowing your audience, and then weighing out the whole. You know, there's a balance of, is this really racist? Are they really gonna laugh? So if the laughter out trumps the racism, then okay, it was funny. You know, it was worth it. Like
Yeah.
it was a racist joke, but it was funny. You got to admit it. And then you're not gonna like be in a room full of like Indians and do like a 7-Eleven joke or something, and unless it's real funny, like they'd laugh at it. You know, but
Yeah.
it just depends
Well,
on the audience too. You know, I guess.
well, I've noticed that if, and it does depend on audience. You're right about that. But I've noticed that like I will be in a room and hear a comic on stage do like some touchy, where it's not racist, but it is racial in the way that they're saying it. You know, it's like they're playing or talking about a particular race, and then if you look around the room, usually the race that they're talking about are the first ones laughing, and the ones that get offended are like the white people that are
Yeah.
trying to be like, I'm cool, I'm one of the
Yeah.
cool whites. But yeah, usually the people that are the subject of the jokes are laughing. Tony Hinchcliffe says it all the time on Kill Tony. He's like, this guy's laughing. You guys should be.
Well, and then also the fact that like you came to a comedy show. Why are you gonna
Right.
come and judge everything they say like it's a
Yeah.
debate or a speech or
Right.
something? Like they're gonna
Yeah.
make jokes.
It's not like this guy's. It's these are jokes. It's not like his senior thesis. Like
Yeah.
when he's not like laying out his he's not laying out his beliefs on the world here. By the way, I want to just address this. My camera's here and you were here on the screen, so sometimes if I'm looking back and forth, I'm looking at you here, and I just don't want
that's
that
cool,
to be
man.
weird.
No worries.
But yeah, dude, these people. Brian Holtzman is still out here doing all of the things that people are getting canceled for left and right. You try to come after that guy? Come on. It's comedy. That's what I love about it. That's what I love about comedy so much, is that there's so many unique ways to reach the same reaction, which is a laugh, or to just, change the way somebody feels. That's all entertainers are supposed to do, is to change the way somebody feels.
It's just putting on a good show. Like,
I love it.
they're everybody has what they're good at, and some people can tell these jokes, those jokes, and
Right.
some people I don't know. There's a lot of factors to it. It's an art form. It does take skill,
Exactly.
It's not just, yelling cuss words or yelling racial slurs or anything and then ha ha ha, that's funny. No, there's a lot more to it. There is.
I mean, there's
At least
certain words that certain comics in Austin will just say that'll get a reaction immediately, but it's not funny the way that they're saying it. And the crowd is just like nervously laughing because they want to give the whole like, oh, I'm cool with that word. You can keep saying that.
yeah.
But
But
it's,
that's not
I don't find it
sustainable.
funny.
It's not sustainable.
It's
I don't
not.
think so. Nah.
Not at all.
I could see someone just, going up to a mic and farting in it really loud and get a laugh, but how many times is it's the farting guy again, this
Yeah, I mean, how
bit
many
show.
do you hold it until you get there? Like, and then what if that goes wrong one time? Like then you're the guy who shit himself at the mic for the rest of your life.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I don't know. It's a lot more. It is an art form. I do
A
believe
natural
that.
fart is funny though.
I've always been annoyed at like you'll watch a drama, like a TV, like Walking Dead. I've been rewatching it, and nobody farts. You would think like a zombie would fart or just regular people, but
That's a
because I
funny thought.
remember, because I remember one time when I was younger, I was fighting with my mom, and we were really getting into it, like real dramatic, and I let out a fart while because I was holding it in for so long. She caught me while I was going to the bathroom and just like, mom, you never listen to me like dad like dad would, and like I don't know, it's
It breaks
they
the
never
ice. It breaks the tension a little bit.
it didn't even break the tension there, but it was more realistic, I'd say. So I know you work as a door person at Sunset Strip, and do you work at the mothership too?
I do not work at the mothership. I'm just like I don't know what you would call me. I got brought up tonight at Andre Ricks, the host of the mothership. He runs East Austin Comedy Club as well. He said this guy isn't a door guy here, but he's a regular. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what that, like, I'm not a paid regular or anything. I'm not passed. But I don't know. Everybody knows me there. I mean, I don't like to wear out my welcome at places, so I don't spend a lot of time there. and I'm also agoraphobic as fuck. So, like I spend a lot of time at. By the way, am I allowed to speak how I normally speak here?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I should have asked beforehand, but
No,
uh,
I would have, I guess, explained it, but this is
right.
a free speech zone.
Nice. But yeah, I'm also agoraphobic, so I don't leave the house a whole lot when I'm
Mhm.
not working or if I don't have any kind of like important obligations. Um, so yeah, I'm the head of security. I'm the head door guy at Sunset Strip. So basically doing the same role there that I did at Vulcan. And I was the head of security at Vulcan for quite some time, like through the Rogan era and the Kill Tony era that we had at Vulcan
Yeah.
before Mothership, the pre-Mothership era.
And as far as like being a door guy, there at the Vulcan, at the Sunset, even, like I said, just being around the mothership, who's like the most like famous person you've met as far do they do like musical acts too? Like I know you play music, but do they get like
Yeah.
musical acts?
Um, we had yeah, we get some pretty big musical acts. We had Kiss come to the bar at Vulcan.
Oh wow.
Like actual fucking Kiss, not like these guys are just out here still living the dream, painting their faces, but Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, the guys. I actually like right here. I have this is Gene Simmons' pick that he used. I know that the flash is not allowing you to see it, but this is Gene Simmons' pick that he used in that show. It's just sitting here on my desk. I didn't meet those guys, but they honestly, they didn't even come in the way that everybody else come in. They came in through a door that we don't even use. Like their crew came in and like they just walk straight into the stage and then straight out, like a door that's not even accessible to anyone else. And we were like, we got a green room set up for them and everything, and we had all this stuff on their rider that they wanted in their green room, and we got it in there. But dude, they didn't even use our green room. They had a hotel room. They had like the whole penthouse of the Hilton in Austin was their green room. So
Jesus. For a
yeah, Gene.
little bar like the Vulcan, or what? I know it's I know I've been to the Vulcan. I can't remember who I
Yeah,
saw there, but I know I've been there.
yeah.
It's
They
nice.
said this is the smallest room we've ever done in her whole career. Like pretty much, we haven't done a room this small since the 70s.
And like the Sunset Strip and the mothership, do you see a lot of like real famous people, like where you're like, holy shit, like actually starstruck maybe?
Um, I've met a lot of like just working Vulcan. Like I've met all the guys. Like, I mean, obviously I'm friends with Tony and Red Band, and like I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm friends with Joe, but like we know who we know who we are. You know, we know each other.
Mhm.
Um, but I got really starstruck with Roseanne because just I don't know. I'm a Southern guy. And I'm from a Roseanne type family.
Mhm.
So we were, that was a thing. I got a chance to watch her go up that first time that she went up in years, like where it was after her cancellation.
Mhm.
Her first time coming back, I was there working. I was working the camera view that night. So me and Christy Nova, who helps Tony, she works with Yoni, the film crew for Kill Tony. But me and Christy Nova were just sitting there, and like when Roseanne walked out on stage, we kind of just like we had a moment where we just kind of looked at each other with like tears in our eyes, like holy shit, this
Badass.
is happening, man. Like, but yeah, but she was going up the stairs and I was standing there, and it was just almost like she looked at me as if to say, okay, it's your turn to talk now. And I was just like, it was an honor to watch you work. But I mean, it was kind of cool to meet Bert Bert was awesome. He was hammered. He came in and I threw my hand out. He got him and his dad. They got in an Uber and he threw his hand out, or I threw my hand out first. I was like, "Welcome to you," and he was like, "Hi, I'm Bert," and like he missed my hand. Like he put his hand on the other side of my hand, like so we were like back to back hands, and I moved my hand around and was like, "Hey, good to see you, buddy." Loudest I've ever heard Vulcan was when Bert took his shirt off. Loudest I've ever heard the room ever was Bert taking his shirt off. Like I don't know,
guaranteed to get loud.
A pop. But then Shane gets those pops consistently. He gets like Bert taking his shirt off pops the whole time throughout his whole set.
Oh man, but he's hilarious. Like you could literally
and really cool.
Yeah, you could literally. I've seen his stand up where it's like on the spot or whatever, and he's just like making funny ass shit up as you go. You know, like not even probably any written material. You know.
Yeah, his stand up on the spot. Jeremiah actually just brought stand up on the spot to Sunset Strip. So the next, I don't know how they release them, how much he has on the backlog, but one of the next stand up on the spots released will have been recorded at the Sunset. And Red Band went up. It was he had a great set. Casey Rocket was on.
Man, Casey's
a monster.
Dude, he's like a fucking android robot. Like he runs on fucking drugs. Like I don't know.
Casey's completely sober.
Completely sober. Say that, which worries me even more when someone like that has all that energy and no drugs to have an excuse about it.
I left Mothership a while ago, and I was standing there talking to a few of the guys that like a few of the door guys and the security guys, and Casey was just standing on the corner, like smoking a cigarette, pacing back and forth. Like that's his thing, man. Like he's just he's like what he does on stage, like that's not too churched up. You know what I mean? Like that's sort of Casey. Like his set starts like 10 minutes before he walks on stage because he's just pacing back and forth, doing squats, like jumping up, like just he does this. But he's a beast. I will say he's one of my favorite comedians to watch because I know his jokes, I know the bits, I know his voice. So even if he does something new, I know how he delivers things. And because I've doored for so long, I'm just watching the crowd at this point. But he's so much fun to watch the crowd react to him.
Yeah. Oh man, he's hilarious. Like I've only seen on Kill Tony whenever like they bring him out for this or that, whenever they need a substitute to fill in for someone, and he's there. But I imagine if you were to like go up to him in like confidentiality and he'd tell you something like, I fear if I stop moving I'll die, you know, like he's just always moving. Like he just never stops, but it's hilarious. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he's a killer. But yeah, I don't know, there's not a whole lot of people that I get starstruck from. Like there was I've gotten to walk a lot of JRE guests. Like Joe Rogan, he would have people on the podcast, and then they would just come to the club and be like, "Hey, Joe told me I could come watch the show tonight." I've walked a lot of those guys, like Graham Hancock or Mike Judge. I've gotten to walk a lot of those guys to their table or show a lot of folks to the green room.
I know Post Malone was just around, right? That was pretty cool. He was actually pretty entertaining of a dude on the Kill Tony.
Dude, to be honest, I'm actually a couple episodes behind on Kill Tony because I watch where I work Monday nights at Sunset now, and so I don't get to watch a lot of them. But I'll binge like 3 or 4 at a time whenever I do. But I know a lot of friends got pulled on that Post Malone episode, or people that I know, I think. Yeah, I didn't see him, but he seems like he'd be a good sport. Apparently him and Red Band hung out at Mitzi's all night drawing dicks. just the whole time they're just drawing dicks. I That's what Red Band was telling me.
Red Band cracks you
But
up too because he'll say the most random shit out of nowhere from the microphone. He never talks, and then he says something random like, "Oh, have you tasted lube before?" And like the
yeah.
crowd just it just kills the crowd, but it cracks me up so bad.
Yeah, what's funny is how upset Tony gets about even the little
Yeah.
things that Red Band says, like, how dare you? Like,
Yeah.
are you seriously saying it?
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious to watch that happen. It's like big
Mhm.
brother, little brother.
Mhm. It's
And
hilarious.
but I'm telling you, man, Red Band's a killer. Like, he's funny. He has his own brand. Like not a lot of people talk about the things that he talks about. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
he's sort of
definitely.
he's got his own thing going on, and he. I mean, I see him phone it in from time to time. I'm there on all of the secret shows. I open up all the secret shows every Thursday, and I'll see him phone it in, man. But he crushes. When I see him on a set, like if he does a set on another show, like this stand up on the spot that he did, murdered. Came out drunk and addressed the fact I've been drinking, just went right into the. And I'm not like telling any tales of his bits or anything. This will all be streamed on YouTube.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, but yeah, he crushes. And that man, I'm 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 very grateful to be under the Red Band umbrella because, dude, he's the golden goose. Uh, he's He's responsible for every podcast we like. He's responsible proxy for so many careers. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
to me,
Somebody else could have done it. Yeah, go
he's
ahead.
like the backbone. Like people
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know like that he
Right.
was there or he doesn't get enough credit for it. And it's like, dude, yeah,
Exactly.
he pretty much like carried or he, like the JRE from whatever episode to whatever episode, he set everything up. He
Yeah.
did all the wiring. He was the sidekick that like the Ed McMahon, he would laugh or add
Yep.
something to the airwaves that was funny about Olive Garden or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he still is that way. Like I don't know, he hasn't changed.
I love that about him. He's committed to
Hmm.
who he is, and that's who he is. He hired Jamie. Red Band hired young Jamie.
Hmm.
I got to be
No,
honest. Out of
what's up?
all the, it was cool to meet Jamie. Jamie's a cool guy. Like, just Jamie's like, I didn't really get starstruck, but it was just like, oh shit, there's young Jamie. And I mean, now I'll see him walking down the street all the time, and I'm just like, hey, give that a goog, JMO.
Is he on the internet? Like his face? I don't think I've ever seen his. He's like the wizard in the Wizard of Oz. Like you never fucking. He's just behind the
Um,
curtain.
he was in the picture that they posted from the companion that they did yesterday. The
Mm,
which I love because you actually get Joe Rogan, like the powerful JRE YouTube went live. Like I
hmm.
remember, I'm sure you as well, when you used to see JRE went live, you would just click it immediately. It didn't matter who was the guest. You would click it because they're talking live on YouTube right now, and I can watch this live. So they did the fight companion last night, and I was actually talking to Sam Tripoli a little bit the day before. He came out to Sunset.
That's
Sam's a
cool.
killer. I've known
Yeah,
Sam for a little while.
he's underrated too. I think he's super
He's such
underrated.
a killer. Yeah, he's old school Comedy Store as well. Like he came up with all of those guys. Like he came up with Tony and and Brody and all those guys, all those cats.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was cool. That it's cool to see that. But Jamie is in the picture that they took with the werewolf from American Werewolf in London. Fun fact.
I think I knew that actually that it was there for some reason, and I've been watching a lot of the music video Thriller. That's all I
Oh
watch.
yeah,
Like, yeah, dude, I watch it like 4 times a day because it's just such a good song and a good video, and you wonder like, why the fuck like did this get made? Like it's classic, but why did
yeah.
why did Michael Jackson think, oh man, I'm gonna make something where I'm like a zombie and I turn into a wolf and it's a song and then we dance and I'm gonna get this director and this effects artist and spend $500,000 and it's like, why, Michael? Like, what are you doing?
Because people are watching it 4 times a day still.
Yeah.
And this is 40 years later, like, well,
Mm-hmm.
roughly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, I'm a big horror guy. I noticed you got the Friday the 13th game poster behind you. I'm a huge horror fan. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I almost exclusively watch horror movies. I'll watch other stuff, but like, it's for every 10 horror movies I watch, I may watch one other genre. But
I never liked horror growing up. Uh, I always got scared of, you go to a video store and there'd be the art boxes of them,
mm-hmm.
and you get
Oh
the
yeah.
old art boxes like the Friday the 13th. I mean the Nightmare on Elm Street ones, the Puppet
Yep.
Master,
Oh yeah.
Chucky. Those were all great. And now I'm trying to catch up on them because I'm not so scared no more. But yeah, like, do you think horror now is? I don't know what it is now because it's so independent, and then it's getting past ratings. I don't know what would you think horror is now? Do you think have you seen anything more recently that's been a good horror movie
Oh
like
yeah, dude.
like recently made?
There's a lot of really good horror movies. There's one that's in the theaters right now called Talk to Me.
Oh, I read about that one.
It's very good. I've seen that. There's a dude. I mean, I could rattle you off a list of 10 horror movies that were released in the last year that are worth watching. And a lot of like Hulu or Shudder or these
Mhm.
places are funding a lot of these things, but A24 is doing really well. They're the one company that agreed immediately to pay their writers and their staff, an acceptable wage, and they ended their writer strike immediately. So A24 is still going to keep pumping shit out.
Mhm.
But there's like Barbarian was great. There's a movie by the same director as Barbarian called Cobweb that is really good. Both of those movies were released within the last year, I think. There's I'm very much into this, and horror is what it always was. Like The Pope's Exorcist was a fun movie. You got Russell Crowe, that's on Netflix right now, and
Mhm.
Russell Crowe really plays that character well, and it's very believable. And it also has the age old demonic thing, but horror movies do this brilliant thing that comic book movies try and fail to do. And I don't know, are you a Marvel guy? Marvel
You
or
know,
DC guy?
it was like when they first came out, okay, like Guardians of the Galaxy was good. And
Sure.
then of course you're pumped with the first Avengers and they all come together. Maybe in Infinity War was a spectacle, and then Endgame was good. Like, that it had an ending to it. It was good.
Yeah.
But now, like,
But overall,
it,
not so much, right?
no, they're tiring themselves out. They really are.
So that's what I mean is that horror movies do something brilliant that Marvel tried and failed miserably at doing. Horror movies have had a way of retelling the same story for decades, and somehow it's always fresh feeling. You know what? Somehow it always feels fresh. Like, rarely ever do you watch a horror movie and be like, okay, well, this is just a remake of. And then, granted, a lot of Rob Zombie's movies are just him paying homage to the stuff that he enjoyed, and a lot of Quentin Tarantino's movies, stepping out of horror, is just him paying homage to a lot of the stuff that he grew up watching. So he will steal scenes or lines or like a plot from an older movie but it makes it fresh, and he does it in a way to where you feel like you're seeing something new.
Yeah.
But I like the way that horror movies do that when they take like the whole, oh, someone is possessed by a demon, uh okay, how many of these movies are we going to make? But every single one of them are unique in very specific ways, and no matter how bad they are, you're gonna feel weird if you walk up to your house just like I did a minute ago, and all the lights were off, and I'm the only one home, and like I get here, and you can just tell an empty house. You know, like even the outside lights aren't on, and I'm just sitting there thinking, is this fucking Grim Cuddy thing that I saw in this Hulu movie? Grim Cuddy was another fun movie. But yeah, it just, I don't know. They make you think, is what I mean. Just like we were saying earlier with art, all its job is to change the way you feel. So you're still going to think twice when you pull your shower curtain back. But I think the 80s, yeah, but by all means, I'm sorry. I'm talking too much.
No, I'm sorry. I like the way that horror films nowadays are bringing back practical effects. Like,
yeah,
you know, because the Marvel and the DC and a lot of movies, even like the Disney, Pixar, all that, they're really relying on like CGI, where the simplest of things is just like, oh, let's just green screen it, you know. Whereas I think I don't know if you saw this movie, if it was even a horror movie, but Infinity Pool.
No,
It's
I
just
need
a
to watch it
weird.
though.
It's a weird like David Cronenberg movie, and it has a
Okay.
bunch of like practical effects, and it's just like a weird trippy movie that like mind fucks you, you know. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying about these like low budget films. Well, they're low budget now because you got movies that get like $300 million budgets.
Yeah. A $10 million
Whereas,
movie is a low budget film
yeah,
today.
exactly,
Yeah.
and they're able to use that for practical effects that you know look great. They get it
Yeah.
keeps people working, you know.
And using actual sets,
Mm-hmm.
like rather than you were saying the green screen stuff. Like that's one of the biggest things I love about a lot of horror movies. And they're I like the fact too that they're stingy with the monster. You know, they don't show you too much too early because it's not as scary.
Mm-hmm.
When you see the monster, it somehow humanizes it a little bit, and it's not as scary, which kind of the slasher films of the 80s, that was a big popular, the slasher era was like, that's all of your Friday the 13th and Halloween's and Nightmare on Elm Streets and Chucky's, all of
Mm-hmm.
those that ended up making, you know, like I think there's like 12 Jasons, there's 8 Nightmare on Elm Streets, I think there's 8 Halloweens.
And then a lot of Screams. They keep remaking
Scream.
Scream.
Well, I haven't watched any of the new Screams, and I don't know why I haven't, but I liked the original, like the Jamie Kennedy and Matthew Lillard, like Courtney Cox. The original Scream was fun for me because that was like my first slasher film that was released when I was, was alert, because I'm watching Friday the 13th and all these other things. They were released before I was born. So Scream was like my first monster, my first slasher, you know. I really enjoyed those, but I never watched any of the newer ones. Maybe I should. I'll save those for.
That's kind of I don't know what the word would be. It's kind of funny, but like Scream was created to like make fun of how the slasher film had
Yeah,
become, right? And
right.
then it kind of became what it was
Yeah,
making fun of. Now that it has like 8 of them
yeah.
on hand, you know, it's funny that that'd be the first one you see is the one that's really like just kind of making fun of the whole genre in general and what it became, you know.
Well, for me, that's what made it scarier, because you've got Jamie Kennedy like rolling out all of this. Oh, and the black guy's gonna die first, and you know that like anybody who says I'll be right back, or I'll be back, they never come back. So he's laying out all of the rules and explaining all of this, and then you see it happen. So for me, it's like, oh, this is a safe movie because he's calling out all of this stuff that's usually scary, but it's almost like he calls a shot and then still nails it. It was still scary for me as a kid.
Yeah. I know you do a lot of that VR or at
Oh yeah.
least I remember you would do it with Red Band. I'm hearing you on there when I watch him doing the VR Red Band,
Yeah.
virtual Red Band. I'm sorry. Do you plan to buy that Apple headset that's gonna come out? How much is it? Like 5 grand or 2.5 grand?
It's too much for me, man. I'm gonna use I mean, I don't know. Maybe if things go well by the time it comes out and I'm up on my luck, hell yeah, I'll buy it. You know, like I will 1000%. Apple, I'm an Apple guy
Me
from
too.
from way back. I've had iPhones and iMacs and iBooks and PowerBooks. Honestly, this computer I'm on is the first PC that I've used in years, and I built it.
Mm.
But just because you got to have stuff like this for VR, and I literally bought all of this just to do VR with. I actually I ran Windows on my iMac for the first couple of virtual red bands that I did. I ran a boot camp on my Mac, which is where you can like I don't know, are you familiar with boot camp where you can boot up Windows, you can
Yeah, like
partition
run a virtual sort of
right.
thing of it. Yeah, I get it. I
Yeah.
don't know how good that would be. I don't know on an
It
Apple. I'm
kind of
not.
sucks.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks because Apple's kind of limited on their RAM. They're
Hmm.
very limited on the amount of RAM they put in their base level products. So I'm partitioning out like 500 gigabytes for a Windows portion of my computer. And ever since I did that, it's just I don't know. I use the Windows now more than anything else because it's more universal, and the Macs just they slow down so bad after a
Hmm.
while. But I know that whatever they release for VR, it's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to VR. I know
Hmm.
for a fact it will be the best VR experience. The user experience is everything, and
Hmm.
Apple's going to nail that. So
I feel like
100%
if
I'll get it if I can, but
yeah, I feel like
I
if
doubt I
even if
can.
they don't nail it the first time, they're gonna like make a plus version and nail it rowdy, and they've had so long to learn from all the other
Oh
VRs that
yeah,
have like done wrong or done right.
right.
And but I'm like, with a price tag like that shit better, like, I better be able to feel that vagina that I'm about to
Oh man,
download or whatever.
have you done do you do VR at all? Do you have
No,
a
I don't. I've like, I don't have a VR headset because I'm not like into it. But
right,
I have done the virtual, like, gone into the world because you can still go into it with your
right,
PC.
your PC?
Uh-huh. And then as far as like porn with like those first person things where you could do it with your phone, like, I see it and I'm like, I'm not feeling anything. This is kind of, I get it, but it's like, to me.
I was excited about it when I first got the thing. I wanted to see what it was like. And I'm going to be honest, like the first couple of times I was like, dude, I may never leave my house again. Like I literally may just stay home forever now. But after a couple of times, it's like it doesn't feel right. Like it's just and porn in itself doesn't feel right, I guess.
Yeah, I get you.
But man, when you got the whole like, cause I have the Quest, the Quest 2,
Hmm.
and I mean it's cool. It's awesome. You're looking down, and I mean the hottest chick you've ever had sucking an imaginary dick in front of you is doing that.
Hmm.
But what I would get distracted because I would just because you can look all the way around and you can like, man, this is a really nice house. This is like
Yeah. They-
I bet this is like a I bet they're showing this house to try to sell it, and these people are just fucking in here for free. But man, yeah, I would get distracted because I have ADD too bad, so I would just be looking around, and then you still have the sound going on. So I mean, you're still hearing her
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
Oh
you're
yeah.
still hearing the whole like everything going on, and I'm just like, man, these are nice end tables. Uh,
Yeah, just getting the whole view, like,
oh
oh,
yeah. But at this point, I literally only pull my headset out. Like it's sitting down here on this little cradle that I made for it on my computer desk. Like I never pull it out unless Redman goes live. He went live the last two nights in a row. I actually had a podcast earlier today that I had to cancel because we did VR too late last night, and I didn't want to be tired going up at the mothership. So
oh shit.
yeah, I
Well,
did
no,
a
I'm
had a
mhm.
yeah, I just had a 2 o'clock show. I was like, yeah, I need to sleep a little longer, buddy. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm glad you came on to this one. No,
Hell
because
yeah. Well, yeah, man.
because we're
This
so
works in
famous
my
here.
this works into my normal hours of operation, which I don't know how much got cut off in the beginning when we were starting. I'm a nocturnal beast.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'm just I need I'm more active at night. I feel better about I don't know. I feel like consciousness is like a Wi-Fi connection, and that it's stronger when fewer people are connected to it, slowing
yeah,
down the bandwidth. So
throttling
I
it.
feel right. I feel like I think better at night. I don't
No,
know. I
I'm
know I'm
scared.
probably
I'm scared of the
crazy, but
darkness. No, I'm scared of the
are you?
darkness. Yeah, it scares me.
Ooh, I like it.
Uh, I'm afraid of it. What and then to go on with, like, we're talking about VR and AI and stuff. What are your opinions about AI? And then you're kind of getting a double because you're like a writer, comedian, musician, well, triple actually. So what do you think about like these advancements, or do you think they're good tools? Have you ever used them? Do you think they're gonna ruin like your craft? You know what I mean? The whole idea of AI.
I don't think it'll ruin my craft. It might ruin if someone isn't that great at what they do, and if basically I think if someone isn't that good at something, that they might fear that AI is going to like replace them. But I'm of the church that I don't think AI can recreate what I do. So I'm not worried about that. And I think that like it's sort of the thing that we could work with. Like I think AI is an incredible tool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Uh it's an incredible tool that we can use, but as far as it becoming sentient and like dangerous, um or I see a lot of things like you can watch some movies, like I watch a lot of bad horror movies, and I can tell like, oh, this was like an AI written script. Like sometimes you can just tell like, oh, I can hear the anti-humanism in this. Like I can hear that someone who doesn't understand the human experience is putting these words together. So I think it's very obvious. And I think that now is one of the few times that we can have this kind of conversation about being worried about it, because I think going forward, it'll be so blatantly obvious that something was written or done with AI. And when it gets to the point where you can't tell a difference, then that might be a little creepy. But I don't know. Just like in the comedy world, you got to be undeniable. You got to be unreplaceable, and then you're the person to where it's like, hey, write a song in the style of Kelsy Hudgins about voodoo donuts on 6th Street. Like I don't know, like and then AI might kick out a song like that. Like I don't know. I'd rather be like one of the things that gets entered into it.
Yeah,
Like I'd
your
rather be
consciousness.
that. Yeah, and like whenever it's time for me to go, like I like to do like that Black Mirror episode where they just upload their consciousness into like this computer, and you can just live on forever in that until it's unplugged, and then it
Yeah,
won't matter. That would be cool.
I'd
But
be deadly afraid of that. I feel like living forever is a I don't know. It sounds scary, especially like let's say you like you said your mind is downloaded into this program. Like
Yeah.
who's running it? What are they gonna do with your consciousness in there? You know what I mean? Like I know there's that one Black Mirror episode where that dude has those people in his Trek game, and he's just
That I
like,
don't
fuck,
like.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And he's just fucking with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That the sucker episode. I've seen I've seen all of the Black Mirrors, but there was another one where it was an older lady. She was in a nursing home and she was just trying to like, okay, we've got you set up, whenever you pass away, we're taking your consciousness and we're going to upload it into this computer, and inside this computer is just another world that they live in. Like it's just another world. Like it's kind of like Westworld in a way, to where they would just live like, I want to go to this place, they can just go there. Like, and it was really cool in that aspect where they were like, okay, I want to be uploaded as myself at 24 years old, peak of my life, physical peak. Like I will always be that version of me, but I'll have my brain that I'll have my, your ancient brain or whatever.
Yeah, all the
That would
wisdom.
be cool. Right. But I
Mhm.
don't want to be part of that guy's Star Trek thing. That fucking that guy is a creepy, he's got a weird face. I don't
Fuck
like
yeah.
him. He
I
just
think
looks like the worst of the whites.
he was like wasn't he from fucking Breaking Bad? I think he was like a bad
Yeah.
guy in Breaking
He
Bad.
was the guy, well, he was the problem. He was the
Yeah.
hothead. That was during those whole Bill Burr episodes as well. I think that
Mm.
he was I forget the guy's name.
He was like part of those Nazi guys, but like
Yeah.
the one that's like I don't know, cool with everything.
Like a
Not so
Kyle or
Nazi.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Like a
Yeah,
Kyle.
I didn't like that guy. He seems like the worst of the whites. Just the
Mhm.
face that he has, it seems like he's he's a guy that locks his door, and not just for the homeless people. You know.
We need those, I guess, though, to balance out the world. Got a couple more questions here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you go to any of the strip clubs in Austin. Uh, I know they have what, the red rose, the yellow rose. I've heard of those sponsors. Is is there any particular color of a girl you would prefer?
Not really. I got a thing for like I'm more of an age type person. I'm not as attracted by younger.
Mhm.
I like an older. I like a little age.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, I don't have any particular, I don't have a color preference, and I don't do a lot of the strip club stuff either.
Mhm.
I maybe olive skin, a little darker, maybe a little Persian, maybe a little like I don't know.
Well, I prefer like a Asian, light skinned, almost pale, you know? But I don't get out very much, so I don't know like what they're serving up at these strip clubs anymore with as far as like shades of toast or shades of meat,
Oh
you know?
yeah, I mean like there's like, I'm pretty sure it's like take your pick. There's going to be anything you're into, it's going to be available. And the yellow rose and the red rose, I mean, those are the spots to go to in Austin. I know there's another one called like Palazzo, I think,
Mhm.
um, which I know a couple people who work there. But I've never really cared for the strip club thing. I've maybe been to 3, maybe 4 my whole life. Never really cared for that because like it's like going to a store where nothing is on sale, but you can still spend money there. Like, It's not even like a casino where you can walk in and you can put money in and you can maybe leave with more money. Like that is never the outcome at a strip
Hmm.
club. Like the only
Hmm.
strip clubs exist so that you can walk into them, uh give away a bunch of money, and then have a really specific porn search when you get back to wherever you go because you're going to end up jerking off. Like it's like I could do this in the world. Like I could see someone I'm attracted to in the world and it alter my porn search, and then I go home with all of the money I would have had, you know?
Yeah, yeah, or
But
spend it on something else, not just waste
but
it on
yeah,
a.
that being said, man, I like some sort of maybe and I'm not speaking like Indian or Arab in any kind of way, but like some Middle Eastern uh like that I would enjoy. I think I would enjoy that. I don't know why. I don't know.
Like a
I do like the
gypsy
darker
queen.
skin. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
yeah, I would like that a lot. But that being said, like I've literally I've not been very adventurous in my life as far as the chicks I've hooked up with. So it's mostly been whites. But
Nothing wrong with that. They're crazy though, but
yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Oh, they're definitely crazy, but I think so. I'm crazy. You know, we've all got the things that make us crazy, but
Hmm.
just whenever you're in a relationship with someone like that, you're in more close quarters, so you're more in tune to what makes them crazy. So then it's amplified by your experience.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm the same as you. I've only been to like a handful of strip clubs, and I think my favorite one was there was a girl with her glasses on because I think she forgot her contacts, and it was just the hottest thing to me. This chick with her titties out, but she had glasses on, and I was like,
Oh
"Dang,
man.
I'm getting a dance from her." And I was like, "Hey, why do you have your glasses on?" When I was getting a private dance, she's like, "I forgot my contacts." I'm like, "Well, no, I would like for you to like put more clothes on. Like, I'd like to see you. I'd rather use my imagination." So I'm trying to say with this
Oh
girl.
yeah.
No, she
That's
was hot.
also another reason why I don't enjoy strip clubs so much is like I enjoy my imagination. Like I enjoy
Mhm.
like being able to like leave something to the imagination. I don't want to know exactly what this looks like. I personally don't want to know what it looks like until I get, to where I'm about to put my face in it. Like that's or when she's about to piss in my face. I want to see it then. Like whenever that's
It's
about
it
to happen.
it's like the in the monster movie. You don't want to see the whole
Yeah.
monster till the end, and then you're like, now
Yeah.
I can scream my load out of me or whatever.
Yeah. Now I can eat it.
Yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
you could fill in the blanks yourself. You could color in the numbers, however you want to call it. Yeah, no, I prefer my imagination too over like, oh, I saw everything. What? Never mind. Let's move on to the next girl. You know.
Like I will, and I find myself even in the porn that I watch, I'll find myself getting more turned on at the scenario of whatever the situation is. And I mean, there's no one thing. Like, I mean, I have a stepmother and stepsisters. Like, I have a stepmother and stepsisters. So like
Okay. Yeah.
it doesn't make it, but in a weird way is like I've always grown up with them. I don't see them as like stepmom or stepsister. And plus like they don't look stepmoms don't look like that in real life. Like
No.
that's not a thing. But whatever the scenario is, like the forbidden situation, like that is more of a turn on for me. And
Hmm.
I'll find myself getting bored once the clothes come off and the fucking and everything starts. Like that kind of bores me.
Yeah.
I like the foreplay of it, or the
Hmm.
whole like,
I
ooh, we
agree.
shouldn't do this, or in public. Like I like not, and I'm not. I said the stepmother and everything. Like that's just a small fraction of what like a lot of public stuff. a lot of someone taking a piss in public where she's fully clothed and squatted down, but I can just see the piss happening. Like that's more attractive to me
Yeah, no,
than
yeah, you could fill in the
yeah.
blanks. Like I said, use your imagination.
Yeah.
I'm the same way too. Like, I don't know. Like, I prefer plot in my porn, like a little
Yeah.
story to get it going. Like maybe there's this like spider in the house, and it wraps its web around this girl's feet, and she can't get out of it, and then she's all wrapped up in the web, and
That's
she's
very specific.
struggling. Yeah, you know, I'm
You had
just
to have watched this like recently.
I have my favorites on tagged on my cell phone.
Yeah.
Ready to
You
go
go
whenever I
back
need.
to the
Yeah,
same video several times just because
you,
it's comfortable.
yeah, but you know what's a shame
Yeah.
when someone like takes it off because it's obviously not supposed to be on whatever site it's on,
Ah,
and you're like, oh
yeah.
man, I really like that one. I should have fucking archived that. But oh well.
Yeah, that's the whole like the OnlyFans thing. That's the OnlyFans stuff that's going around now. Like you're charging you money for all of these kinds of things, but then a video will leak and it'll get out there. But I kind of like the OnlyFans stuff. Like, and I don't do it, but I like the fact that people are able to make money. Like the industry, like the porn stars have never ran the industry,
Hmm.
but they kind of run the industry now with OnlyFans. So it's given the power back to the people actually doing the job, which I appreciate. Like I like the fact that they are making money with an alternate means of, like that's something that I appreciate. But
They're like
one
a small
day,
business. They're like a small
yeah,
business. Like you want to help them out. Yeah, I know. I've subscribed to a few OnlyFans. I think the most expensive one that I just got was for a girl that I've done a podcast with, and I was like, "Hey, I know you just got your OnlyFans. Can I subscribe to it?" Yeah, it's like $40 a month. But her body is
yowzer,
like, yeah, I know, but her body is like, I needed to see it. I needed to. I mean, I've seen it
yeah,
now, so I'll unsubscribe. But I was like, $40 a month. Let me save up for a little bit of my fucking tin can money, and then I'll check it out. But yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it.
there was one thing that I did pay for, and it was called Naked Bakers. You ever heard of that? I'm just shouting them out now.
I can kind of guess with context clues what it might be, but no, I've never
Well,
heard of it.
I actually found it on YouTube. So it was like
Hmm.
this chick, and she was like explaining. I watch a lot of food stuff in my algorithm. Like it's a lot of cooking things. Like I'm very very much into that. And
Hmm.
I found this in my algorithm. It was this chick wearing no bra, white t-shirt, baking something. And I'm not exactly. I mean, I'm not a pervert about it. But like that was, you know what, man?
But you're a
I'm gonna look
man.
at this. I'm a
You're a fucking
man. I
man.
want
You're a
to
man.
see what, like, not only that, I want to know how she makes the bread. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's an
but
added incentive to watching
yeah.
this. Like, hey,
But I found her forever ago, and then she was doing a Patreon. And her Patreon, I was like, yeah, fuck it. I like Patreon. Like, that's not OnlyFans.
hmm
So I could rationally not feel like a creep if I'm doing it, So I subbed her Patreon, and I was in her Discord and everything with that, and like messaging, and like it was like normal human interactions. Like, hey, I'm having mosquitoes around my house. Does anybody know how to fix this? And I sent her a message. Yes, I know how to fix the problem that you've got, and like it just nice interactions. But it was casual nudity.
hmm
Them doing normal stuff like cooking or cleaning the house, but just naked. And
hmm
I found that to be attractive. So if like she's not wearing anything, but she's doing normal, like not sexual stuff, that was cool for me. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that they've like gone on to do more sexual stuff now, and it's grown into this big thing. But like that was a cool thing that I that I kind of enjoyed. And they also do pee stuff, which I'm very much into the piss. I just did 5 minutes at the Comedy Mothership about getting pissed on. So fucking, that's my thing.
They I followed this OnlyFans woman. I don't know if you know her. Her name's Nightmare Christie, and she's like a horror girl, horror whore, whatever you want to call it.
A horror, WHORROR.
Yeah, like a
Horror.
whore,
No,
where she
don't get
does
mad at
like
me, ladies. I didn't mean that.
she does a lot of horror movie content, right? Where she'll like talk
Nice.
about horror movies and stuff, and she owns like a store that sells like horror paraphernalia, like horror Funko Pops or scream
Oh,
masks
that's
or whatever
sweet.
you want to call it. But she does unboxings naked on her OnlyFans
Ooh.
of figurines, of like Jason figurines, and like DVD box sets of, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever. And I thought that
Yeah.
was pretty hot. The idea of that, like, oh shit, she's just unboxing shit, but she's butt naked while she's doing it. Like,
See, that's sort of like I like to. It's almost if they're doing something normal while naked, I get the same effect as if they're doing something sexual while clothed.
yeah, it's weird. It's I don't know. I that's why I'm like related to you, because I can completely get it.
Yeah,
The piss thing, I have to like research more to
yeah.
maybe.
It's not for
But
everybody. I'm gonna be
yeah,
honest, man.
yeah.
I found out the honest way. You know, it happened in a swimming pool one time, and
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Like,
and
I'm pretty sure it's uh a lot of somebody's thing. You know what I mean? Why would they
yeah,
not? You know, why would they have it if they didn't, or if it
yeah. And
wasn't?
my stepdad used to say this thing. I kind of said it earlier. He was like, "Man, I'd let her piss in my face to see where it was coming from." And just I don't know. It just that was just stuck in my mind, I guess, for my whole life. And then now I don't know. That's what I like.
I'm trying to think. Like, that seems kind of easy to answer, though. It's only going to come out of, I think, one or two
Oh
places.
yeah, but I mean he in his mind he's like I would love to see her pussy, but in the way
Oh,
he
okay,
says
yeah.
that is like, oh, I'd let her piss in my face just to see where it was coming from. You know, like that's the old Southern way of taking the elbow to the asshole route of
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
something very straightforward, but it's funnier.
yeah. Three lefts to make a right. I get you.
Right. I
Last
like
thing
that.
here, as far as like your wizardry skills, do you practice alchemy at all? Are you into that?
No, not so much. I kind of I like the devil. I'm a religious person, but I think that the devil in the way I see it is as important as God. Like what is one without the other, good and evil. Like one cannot
Mm-hmm.
exist if the other doesn't exist. So there is not one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
Um, got a lot of Baphomet. Like I don't know, I got a Baphomet sitting over here on top of my record thing. I have some wands that I've made or bought somewhere along the way, but I'm not like I don't I don't get into the I curse people in different ways, you know?
You couldn't like you wouldn't be able to melt like a steel beam with jet fuel or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, well, I don't think anybody could do that.
Mm,
Uh,
mm,
uh
mm. No. Well,
I don't think anybody could bring that thing down unless it were controlled demolition.
and
Um
tomorrow, and this episode will actually come out on 9/11.
9/11. Holy
Yeah,
smokes.
that's pretty
Oh, you know what's worse
yeah.
than 9/11? 3/11.
The band?
Yeah. I'm just
Is it
kidding.
wasn't the name they named themselves that because 11, the 11th letter in the alphabet is K, and it's 3 Ks, 311.
Oh man, that sounds like some late 90s conspiracy right there. Some like that sounds like that guy that you heard that at the lunch table at school.
I'm more of
That's
a
probably where
god.
that was from.
I'm more of a Godsmack. I'm alive for you. I'm
Yeah.
awake because of you. I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm doing the best
I
I
like
ever did.
Godsmack. The Voodoo was fun. We used to cover that song in my band back home.
I had written a
Uh
joke where I wish Godsmack would come out with a commercial for Hulu. They go like Hulu,
Hulu.
Hulu,
That's funny.
Hulu, like a Super Bowl commercial,
That'd
you
be
know?
funny.
Yeah. Oh, it'd make a lot of money because it's
That would kill,
hilarious.
man. Because they're like a band that's kind of like could make a little bit of a comeback from something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Because it's
they'd
certainly
be.
not going to be Smash Mouth anymore.
Oh man, that sucked.
Uh,
He really, his liver really must have taken a beating though.
yeah, because my granddad got diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver in 1997 and quit drinking, and he died like last year. So I mean, he like if you keep drinking, the cirrhosis will kill you, but if you stop, you can live for a long time after you have it.
Yeah. No, that was pretty crazy to that he just died out of nowhere. It's just I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like, man, they should have waited till Shrek fucking came out with it. Whatever. It's all what ifs
Yeah.
now, and what ifs and wishes. But I it was a great day. Like I said, this will come out 9/11. Rest in peace.
Hell yeah.
To all the mattress furniture sales people. Uh, Thank you so much,
Thanks
Yonder
for having me,
Wizard,
man.
Kelsy Hudgins. Do you have any of your stuff you want to shout out? I know I put your link tree there at the bottom. It's linktree / Yonder Wizard. You are on Twitter at Yonder Wizard. Know if you wanted to shout out anything else or what else you were.
Yeah. I think everything is on my link tree. My music is all under Kelsy Hudgins. Everything else is Yonder Wizard, ZZERD. Come to Austin. Come see me in real life at the Sunset Strip. I'm doing stand-up comedy there. Every Wednesday night, we have a staff showcase at 10 p.m. every Wednesday. Every Thursday, I open up the Def Squad Secret Show at 7:30. Before the secret show, I go on and do 30 minutes of music and jokes. And yeah, come see me in Austin, man. Like that's where it's happening.
Hell yeah, no, it's fucking it's the new what is that place where everybody all the Jews go to? Oh, it's like Mecca, right? It's like the
This
Mecca
is
for
well, the,
comedians.
I don't think they called it Mecca, but
Oh, okay,
uh,
whatever.
yeah, it's
Everybody,
this is the promised land. This is
yeah,
that.
yeah. Everybody's heading over there for everything, everything.
Yeah,
Electric cars, fucking comedy, music, art, everything. But
yeah, yep.
yeah, but
Also,
again,
keep a very close eye on Gary Clark Jr. He may you may have some accompaniment on the road here soon that we may have heard of. Let's see.
okay. I was like, I think you're
I'm
winking.
not making an announcement.
I was like, I think you're winking, but yeah, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on here. And we'll definitely hopefully see you again. I'm sure I'll see you again, on the YouTube or somewhere. Definitely for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, take care and we'll see y'all later.